So they said it couldn't be done. They said the crime was too entrenched. The gangs were too powerful. The system was too broken. I'm Tom McCullough, White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I'm here filling in while Gary races home from celebrating liberty with Ron Paul himself, the American patriot. But today, in the most crowded briefing room anyone has ever seen, President Trump just did what no president in history has dared. He took direct federal control of our nation's capital, and the numbers are staggering. And the response from Trump and the admin is immediate, and the criminals are running scared. What you're about to see will change everything you thought you knew about law and order in America, and the liberation as D.C. has just begun, so stay with me. So if you're getting close to retirement and just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing. You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings. And one company that makes it easy? That's Noble Gold Investments. You can buy gold or silver, coins or bars, and have them shipped to your home or stored securely. It's a smart way to convert cash into something that actually holds value. So Noble Gold is fair, they're transparent, and they don't pressure you. They just provide solid information and real options. So visit nextnewsgold.com and go ahead and get started today. So the scene at the White House was unlike anything we've witnessed, and I've been there plenty of times, and me and Gary, we go there quite a bit to cover the White House, and we had a reporter, Matt Bailey, was inside when Trump made the announcement that's sending shockwaves through Washington. The president revealed he was inspired to act after a former DOJ employee was nearly beaten to death while trying to stop a carjacking, and that was the final straw. So let's go ahead and take a look at Matt Bailey's amazing reporting. Check it out.
President Donald Trump today right here in the White House press briefing room holding a massive news conference with the room as full as the journalists and the president himself have ever seen it, to announce that crime in D.C. is coming to an end. Joined by Secretary Pete Hegseth, Secretary Doug Burgum, Attorney General Pam Bondi, District Attorney for Washington, D.C. Janine Piro, and, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel. He announced federalization, essentially, of the district. He signed 2 executive orders to that effect. Something of note, one of those executive orders enacts a law from the 1900s that says if you deface a federal monument, you get 10 years in prison, no probation, no reduced sentence. Another thing that was interesting, District Attorney Janine Piro talked about how she cannot touch juveniles for adult crimes, even when they are the age of 17. Now, the president is very eager to clean up Washington, D.C. He said he was inspired to take this action after a former DOJ employee was nearly beaten to death for trying to stop a carjacking earlier this summer. Now, remains to be seen whether there will be any pushback from Congress, what the congressional part of this will be. He had to notify Congress as part of this procedure, but it seems like the president is pretty assured that he will be able, through the home rule that the district has, that he will be able to federalize the district, put out the National Guard, deploy, I think, about 1,000 troops was the figure that's been mentioned, all on his own, without the approval needed from Congress, but he is still notifying the Senate, notifying the Speaker of the House as necessary, and we will see where this goes. He says that crime will drop significantly within the coming weeks. He encouraged people from Middle America to come to D.C., see their monuments with the safety and security of knowing that they will be safe. He even has appointed a special commissioner to oversee the Metro Police Department. So more on this story we will bring you in Washington, D.C. I'm Matt Bailey.
Awesome job, Matt. So that's right, guys. Federalization of the district. And guess what? Trump's not playing games anymore. He's appointed Special Commissioner Terry Cole to oversee Metro Police operations. But Trump, as usual, wasn't done. Standing before the largest crowd ever assembled in that briefing room, Trump laid out the brutal reality of what D.C. has become under the failed liberal leadership. Take a look.
Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth. Much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes through our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, when you take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that? I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. D.C., 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that.
It's crazy that the president is holding up a piece of paper that shows double the homicide rates, double and triple the murder rates of Baghdad and Bogota. But we know the Democrats have been hiding the numbers. And let that sink in. Our nation's capital is more dangerous than literal active war zones. There's no cash bail disaster that destroyed New York and Chicago. Trump's ending it in D.C. immediately. And watch how he explains this one policy created chaos everywhere. Democrats implemented it. Take a look.
Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against law. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them, and told them, whatever happens, you know, they love to spit in the face of the police. As the police are standing up there in uniform, they're standing, and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such, so and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime, totally weak on crime.
You could always tell that Donald Trump ran businesses where he got direct input from his employees and people that work with him. He heard law enforcement's problems when the protesters got right in their face and they were spitting on him. And Trump said, you spit and we hit. That's the new rule for anyone assaulting our police officers. No more standing down while anarchists attack law enforcement. So Trump's deployment includes 800 National Guard troops who are already clearing homeless encampments from parks and underpasses. These aren't just random camps. Many harbor criminals from foreign countries that nobody can even identify. Take a look.
Thank you, Cash. So the process begins right now. It actually started over the weekend, and we confronted a lot of very bad people. But it's going to be something that will be pretty amazing to you as you watch it. And I think most of you say it's a beautiful thing to do it right. We're going to be removing homeless encampments from all over our parks, our beautiful, beautiful parks, which now a lot of people can't walk on. They're very dirty, we got a lot of problems. But we've already started that. We're moving the encampments away, trying to take care of people. Some of those people, we don't know how they even got there. Some of those people are from different countries, different parts of the world. Nobody knows who they are. They have no idea, but they're there. We're getting rid of the people from underpasses and public spaces from all over the city. There are many places that they can go, and we're going to help them as much as you can help. But they'll not be allowed to turn our capital into a wasteland for the world to see. The Metropolitan Police Department and the federal authorities will be supported in the effort, a really big effort, the 800 D.C. National Guardsmen that we'll put on, and much more if necessary, much more.
The beautification begins immediately. Trump is turning chaos into order, just like he did at the southern border, and we know that didn't take him long. The president drew direct parallels to his border success, where crossing dropped to 0 for 3 months straight. He brought in Attorney General Pam Bondi to explain exactly how federal power will restore order. Take a look.
I'm going to ask Pam, because she's now, as you heard me say, she's really in charge of a lot of what we're talking about. She's done an incredible job. People are going to start to see the fruits of her labor. And Pam, maybe you could say a few words about what we're talking about here.
Sure, President. Let me be crystal clear. Crime in D.C. is ending, and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo. We have the National Gallery. DC should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe. Behind me and to my side, we have some of the best career law enforcement and prosecutors in the country who are ready to take this on. As the president said, Terry Cole is going to be supervising the Metro Police Department. Gadi Serralta, our U.S. Marshal, is going to be supervising command and control, the entire operation. Our Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and I will be working with them closely, along with our great FBI Director, Kash Patel.
So as long as it's not the Epstein files, Pam Bondi's pretty good about getting stuff done. When she says crime in D.C. ends today, Bondi's not mincing words. The command structure is clear. U.S. Marshal Gadi Serralta controls operations. FBI Director Kash Patel leads the intelligence. And speaking of Kash Patel, he revealed stunning law enforcement victories already achieved under Trump. 4,000 child rescues and the lowest murder rate in modern U.S. history. Now he's bringing that success model to D.C. Take a look.
Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi. Your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities. And how do we do it? And what are we going to bring to D.C.? What we did in Northern Virginia, thanks to Terry Cole and Governor Youngkin and the team, we stood up a task force out in my Northern Virginia field office, and we said, let's let good cops be cops. Let's get them the intelligence and what they need, and let's get the red tape out of their way, and let's get DOJ partnered up with us to bring great prosecutions. And that's exactly what we did. In 1 month, we arrested 545 violent felons. 545 in the state of Virginia, thanks to Governor Youngkin's partnership. And that simplicity in law enforcement is what's coming to Washington, D.C.
Cash is all go and no stop. 545 violent felons arrested in 1 month using these methods in Virginia. And that's what competent leadership looks like. And don't forget, Judge Janine Piro didn't hold back either. She was blasting D.C.'s weak laws that let armed teenagers walk free. And watch her promise to end this absolute, utter insanity. Take a look.
We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill. I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the DC Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens, and it starts today.
She does not mince words when she says young punks with guns getting probation while their victims get coffins. Guess what? That ends now, guys. Even the briefing room moment itself made history. Trump called up Press Secretary Caroline to confirm if it was the most packed room ever, proving Americans are desperate for leadership on crime. Take a look.
Mr. President, you also made the comment. You walked out here. This is the most people we've ever seen in this briefing.
I've never seen
ever, right?
I've never seen any. Where's Caroline? Where's my superstar? Caroline. Is Caroline in the back? Where's Caroline? Come here, Caroline. Come here, Caroline. Come here. Is she doing a good job, by the way? Come here, Caroline. Is this the largest crowd that you've ever seen?
This is definitely the most packed briefing, and I think all of you would agree. I think it's why we need to build a ballroom.
Mr. President, I have a better idea.
So me and Gary cover the White House quite frequently, and that space is deceptively small. I mean, on TV, it looks like it's huge, but it's like probably 35 feet wide and 50 feet long, and fitting 100 people in there is insane. So when he asked Caroline about better briefing room conditions, Trump's response was classic. I don't want you comfortable. He wants results, not comfort. Check this out.
Mr. President, I have a better idea.
All right, Brian, go ahead.
My question is this. You're building the big, beautiful ballroom. Yeah. Could we build a big, beautiful briefing room, updated technology, more seats?
I don't want to do that. I don't want you to be comfortable. No, I don't want to make life comfortable.
I love that guy. So he also talks about 2 executive orders that were signed, including one that mandates 10-year prison terms, no probation for defacing federal monuments. The sanctuary city status, it's gone. The result, criminals have nowhere left to hide. So if you guys got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this isn't just about D.C. It's about reclaiming America from the forces of chaos. While Democrats spent decades turning our capital into a war zone, worse than Baghdad, Trump solved it in one afternoon. The same president who secured our border in 3 months is now securing our streets and the nation's capital. Every parent who fears for their child's safety, every business owner who's been robbed, and every citizen who's watched their city decay, this is your vindication. The establishment said it couldn't be done. The media, they called it impossible. The politicians profited from the chaos. But when you elect a builder instead of a bureaucrat, when you choose strength over weakness, when you demand results over rhetoric, this is what you get. Liberation Day has arrived. So here's the question. Should Trump federalize police in your city next? If it's allowed. Drop your answer below, and remember to show your support at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. And we've got the gear that triggers a liberal establishment.